Hey, John with Amdahl Gallery here. Welcome to the channel. If you're not familiar with Amdahl Gallery already, which probably most of you are not, it's a website that I operate to share some of my artwork. Typically when I share art, I also share a GIF file, progression image of sort of how the pieces come together. For a long time I've wanted to also share video, and so this site, this YouTube channel is to do that, to try it out, see if people find video progressions useful. I'm also a big fan of tech and gadgets, and I think it would be nice to be able to share some impressions of different products that I try, so I'll probably share that here as well. For a little additional background on me as an artist, I'm an amateur. I'm self-taught as well. A lot of what I've learned has just come from trial and error, and from learning from other artists that blog like I do on WordPress. I've also learned a lot from some YouTube artists, like Luciana Juliet has a great progression video of, I forget which actress it is, I think someone from Harry Potter, but she talks through step by step. That helped me a ton when I was trying to learn how to use colored pencil. So kind of this is a way to pay it forward. Maybe this will help someone else too. All right, so for the first drawing that I do for this channel, I am going to, there's going to be a lot of learning with this, so we'll see how it goes. But so typically when I do a portrait using colored pencils, it takes a couple of hours to do. I'm going to try to do this as fast as I can. I'll have to speed it up a little bit, and so we'll see how it all comes together. But so like I said, I use Prismacolors. Let's see if you can see this. So I've got a collection of some of the most common ones that I use here. There's really probably a core of about 20 or 30 that I use constantly. And I find myself reordering them a lot, especially white for blending, light peach, and some of the brown colors I reorder a lot. Also French grays. They come in 10%, 20%, 30%, 50%, 70%, and 90%. I use these a lot for hair colors. And likewise, I use warm gray a lot, and all the variants of warm gray. I use those for shadows on faces. So those are my favorites. I also have an eraser. I think a lot of colored pencil folks do this as well. I keep a kind of a scratch to scratch out colors if I can't remember what exactly they look like on paper. Sometimes I kind of blend too, like I'll put a little there and a little bit there, get the white out, and blend them together. Sometimes I do this on the scratch pad as well to kind of figure out what's going on. So anyways, my kids call this Mark Heart page, which cracks me up. So they always ask, they draw with me a lot, and they ask for, hey, can you hand me the Mark Hearts? And so we pass this back and forth. So you can see we got some little drawings on there too. So materials, I typically draw, you'll see this paper is not that big. I usually draw on 9x12 paper because I find it to be a very convenient size for storage. And since I mentioned I'm not a professional artist, it's easier for me to have an easy way to store. So just as an example, I use these, there's lots of different types available, but so I use these Itoya notebooks that are pretty good. I find that they store pretty easily, and the 9x12 size is pretty economical. I think these are $12, something like that. So a lot of art supplies, you know, sometimes I get stuff on Amazon. I tend not to go to some of the stores like Michael's or Hobby Lobby because I find them a little expensive. So if I don't get it on Amazon, a lot of times I'll get something from Dick Blick, or trying to remember the other. There's another art supply website too that I've used from time to time that the pencils are pretty cheap on. I can't remember exactly how much, but less than $2 each, maybe $1. I think they're like $1, but it's nice to get those. You can get a whole batch of them of the colors that you like, and you can pick them one at a time rather than buying a big Prismacolor set. In terms of supplies too, I also use a Prismacolor sharpener. I've been meaning to get a motorized sharpener that can do this for me automatically. I probably will someday, but anyway, so I am going to start on this and see how it goes. So that is it for this one. I think it went okay. It's not a masterpiece, but not bad for a very fast effort. As I mentioned, this is my first video, so there's clearly a learning curve with setting all of this up. I have already learned some things though. One thing I need to work on is my setup. I kept getting my head into the frame as I was filming this, and I bumped the camera a whole bunch, so I had to go into iMovie and cut all that stuff out. So also, I need to work on my lighting situation. It's probably pretty noticeable for you guys, but I had a lot of color shifting during the video where I saw that the paper started to look yellow, then it looked white, and then sort of the skin tone changed. So I'm not sure that this is exactly an accurate representation of the color. So that's another issue that I need to work on. So better lighting will probably help the video experience overall. Another thing is that the entire drawing process took about an hour. I believe about 55 minutes total at regular speed on the recording, which is pretty fast for one of my drawings. And again, I think probably the overall end result would be a little better if, I'd spent a couple of hours on it instead of just 1 hour. But I also focused heavily, as far as the part that's going to be included in this video, on the color technique, the blending, the burnishing, which colors I'm using, how I'm applying them. I wanted to focus on that part of it so that the video would not be too long. I could make a longer video next time, so include kind of the initial graphite sketch, which I use these regular soft number 2 pencils for sketching, but I can include that intro portion if that is useful to people. Also, I cut some of the end part of this video, particularly just adding some color here and some additional detailing, just because it was only a couple minutes worth of stuff, but I like to get my head really close to the page, and some of this stuff I really wanted to be closer to do it, and so it was really hard, again, with this setup that I have, to not bump this tripod or get my skull into the picture. So next time I'll try to work on that, and if that's helpful to people, I can make the video longer with more content. So I'm also going to try to share something that does not, a time lapse of this that is shorter. It's basically just a sped up progression without me talking. The talking may not be valuable to everyone, and this video might be, again, a little too long. A sped up time lapse that might be a little more easily consumable, so I'll share that as a separate video. So that conversation about the time this took, it's kind of a good segue to wrap up. If you found that this video did help you and you want to see more like it, please like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. That is the sort of feedback that is the best way that I know if this is useful to anyone. So if it even gets a few people that are watching it and interested in it and they found it useful, I'll probably do more of these. That's just kind of a good way to let me know that this helped somebody. Also, if you have anything specific that you want me to focus on in another video, please let me know. You can put a comment in or anything like that. That helps too. I'm glad to take requests or recommendations for future videos. So Anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and good luck.